6 weeks ago I inserted my first FreeStyle Libre 3 sensor, and today I'm bringing you a detailed review of this little bad boy. I'm Tom, I've been a diabetic for over 30 years, and for the past 6 weeks I've been testing FreeStyle Libre 3. I've been taking a lot of notes, finding answers to all the questions you sent me, and trying to figure out future release dates. This will be a long video packed with information, exactly as you like it. This video is not sponsored, I will be sharing my personal experience and my honest opinion. And guys, I decided to send a free package with FreeStyle Libre 3 to 2 of my followers. I will tell you who they are somewhere throughout the video, so don't skip and let's get right into it. The first thing I want to talk about is the sensor design and size, because FreeStyle Libre 3 is extremely small and very low profile, unlike any other CGM. But you cannot really fully appreciate how tiny it is until you start using it. After I put it on, I immediately forgot about it. I didn't feel it, I didn't bump into anything, I didn't rip it out, I didn't even feel it at night when I lied on it. I totally forgot where it was. I always had to check, is it on this arm or this arm? I just didn't know. And you don't get this feeling with any other CGM. Now some of you ask if you can lift weights with it.
Do you even lift?
Obviously I don't lift, so I can't really say, but I don't see why you couldn't. I did some workouts with my body weight and this little guy, no issue.
Okay, that's called yoga, and you don't lift.
One cool little thing I like about the FreeStyle Libre 3 is the matte color. The previous versions were a lot more glossy and more slippery, if you will. Another thing that changed is that the hole in the middle of the sensor is now bigger than it used to be, and there is something like a rubber seal around the hole. I was not able to figure out why exactly the rubber is there, but I assume that the main purpose of the hole is to stabilize humidity and temperature around the sensor, just like the previous generations. I personally like the new look a lot more. Way less packaging, way less plastic, the sensor looks more modern, less medical. But I still think more could be done. How about different sensor colors or colorful stickers in the package so that we can match our sensor with our outfit? How cool would that be? The sensor is water resistant at IP27 standard, which means it can go up to 1 meter deep for up to 30 minutes. So showering and swimming with the sensor is not a problem. Many of you asked about the sensor adhesive and if that has been improved. I don't think the adhesive is very different from the previous FreeStyle Libre versions. It feels the same to me, but I think the adhesive has been just fine for some time. It doesn't irritate my skin and it sticks quite well. Now, because the sensor is so small now, I don't bump into something as often as I used to with the previous version, but you can get caught on something by accident. And if that happens, I can imagine that you might rip it out quite easily. But overall, the adhesive is definitely not something I would criticize. One thing I want to correct. In my previous video I said that Abbott no longer includes the alcohol wipes in the package. Well, this information was a bit misleading. A few of you corrected me, so thank you for doing that, for keeping me honest, and I apologize for that mistake. The fact of the matter is that the alcohol wipes can't be sold with sensors in the European Union, and because I bought my Libre 3 in Germany, which is a part of the EU, the alcohol wipes were not included. And so in other words, I expect that for all the countries outside the EU where you are used to getting the alcohol wipes in the package, they will stay in the package with FreeStyle Libre 3 as well. Next topic many of you are interested in is accuracy and calibration. Is FreeStyle Libre 3 accurate? Do we need to calibrate it? Can we calibrate it? And if so, how do we do it? So the FreeStyle Libre 3 sensors are calibrated in the factory. You don't need to calibrate them. You just put them on and start getting the glucose readings. When it comes to accuracy, I have really been extremely happy with Libre 3. On paper, Libre 3 should have the same accuracy as Libre 2, but I actually felt that it's better. Let me explain. First of all 3 Libre 3 sensors that I used were very accurate already on day 1. I did many blood sugar checks with my glucometer, and I haven't seen any notable differences. I bought these sensors on my own. I didn't get a special badge from Abbott or anything like that, and they were very accurate. Second, I have been hearing anecdotes from other FreeStyle Libre 3 users who already used these sensors. They were accurate for them as well. And third, I think the reason why Libre 3 feels more accurate than Libre 2 is that it is a real-time minute-by-minute CGM. The glucose value updates every minute, not only when you scan. So although Libre 3 is still taking the readings from interstitial fluid, they are not lagging behind blood sugar readings so much, because the information or the glucose values are updated all the time, every minute. For me, the lag between Libre 3 and my glucometer was definitely not more than 5 minutes, and I felt Libre 3 was much better than Libre 2 in this respect. Now back to calibration. It is not possible to calibrate Libre 3 in the native app. I also recently attended the FreeStyle Libre 3 workshop that was provided in Germany, and there I was told that it is not even allowed to calibrate FreeStyle Libre 3. Now that's the official information, obviously, and I know many of you use unauthorized third-party solutions to calibrate the older FreeStyle Libre sensors. To my knowledge, this is not possible with FreeStyle Libre 3 right now, but I can imagine there is a bunch of geeks somewhere who are already looking into it and trying to find a way to calibrate the sensors outside the official FreeStyle Libre platform. Now, some of you have been asking me to compare the accuracy of Libre 3 with Dexcom G6, and I'm actually thinking of making a separate video where I would do an overall comparison of Libre 3 and Dexcom G6 sensors. So if that's something you want me to do, just let me know by hitting that like button. Next thing I want to talk about is Libre 3 devices. The only way to receive the data from the FreeStyle Libre 3 sensor is the FreeStyle Libre 3 app on your smartphone. The glucose value and trend gets updated automatically every minute. It's really cool to just sit and watch the value change. Fascinating piece of technology. The Bluetooth connection has been very good, very stable, the data transfer was smooth, and it didn't disconnect on me once. Abbott extended the Bluetooth reach to 10 meters, so even if your phone is quite far away from the sensor, you will still get the glucose updated and you will still get the alarms, as long as there is not too many walls between these two, because walls usually block the Bluetooth signal. There is no FreeStyle Libre 3 reader, and FreeStyle Libre 3 doesn't work with any older readers. My thoughts on that? Well, I honestly hated the Libre readers. I thought it was an expensive piece of plastic. The touchscreen was terrible, the reaction time was too long, I never really used it. So from my perspective as a guy in his 30s who follows the latest technology, it was a good decision to get rid of the reader and just move everything to a smartphone app. But I got many comments from people who prefer the reader. It's usually the older generation, the people who are not that much into smartphones, or people who prefer to have their phone and their diabetes separated. And also the people who like to use the reader as a glucometer, because that allows them to not carry around too many devices. And after reading all these comments, I have to say that I totally understand them, and I really hope that Abbott will bring back the reader exactly for this group of users. Now, as I said before, the glucose levels update automatically every minute. It's a great improvement because we get the information more timely. But there is a couple issues with that are not so obvious at the first sight. The constant transfer of data will take its toll on battery life of your phone. So if you have the FreeStyle Libre 3 app running in the background all day, the battery will not last as long as it would if the FreeStyle Libre 3 app was not running. It's nothing dramatic, but it's really notable that the phone doesn't last that long. So make sure to get a phone with a good battery. If your battery dies, the sensor will keep recording the data about your glucose, but you will not be able to look at it until you turn your phone back on. Another issue I had with the minute-by-minute readings was that sometimes I was, let's say, 100 and suddenly the number changed to 93. Now that's quite a big drop, 7 units per minute. And I was thinking if the glucose keeps going down like that, I will be at 70 in 3 minutes. And so I was asking myself, should I eat something? Am I going into a hypo? But then 1 minute later the number changed again from 93 to 97, and then again from 97 to 99. So in fact my blood sugar was not really dropping in the bigger picture, it was just fine. In this specific situation I described, the trend arrow was horizontal the whole time, and it was telling me that I'm not really dropping. And this again reminded me that although the number changes every minute, I should not focus too much on the absolute number. I should focus more on the trend arrows, which is not so easy to do in real life. A good thing about FreeStyle Libre 3 is that you don't need cell phone coverage or internet to receive the readings from the sensor on your phone. You can be on the airplane, you can be in the forest, you don't even need to pay for a plan to a cell phone provider. As long as you have Bluetooth turned on, you will get your glucose information every minute. Just remember, your phone also needs NFC, because NFC is used to activate the sensor. Now, what happens if you lose your phone? Another question some of you are asking. Well, if you lose your your phone, you can still recover the historical data as long as the phone was connected to the internet, because all the data is automatically stored on Abbott's server. So let's say you buy a new phone, you log into your FreeStyle Libre 3 account, and you should see all your data there. You should also be able to keep receiving data from your sensor that you have on your arm. Now, as I showed you in my previous video, there is a new app called FreeStyle Libre 3 that everyone needs to download to their mobile phone to be able to use Libre 3. The app is very similar to the previous Libre apps. It shows your glucose graphs and the most important statistics that you are used to, but there are a few changes I want to highlight. The most notable one is the dark mode. So if you like, you can switch the background in your app from white color to black color. You still get the signal loss alarm, and you can still customize your low and high alarms. Unfortunately, there is still no repeat function for the alarms, so you only get the alarm once, when you cross the level to which you set your alarm to. It doesn't repeat until you go back to range and cross the alarm level again. But another new feature that FreeStyle Libre 3 has is that you can customize your target range. The standard recommended target range is between 70 and 180 milligrams per deciliter. With Libre 3, you can narrow it down. So let's say your doctor and you agree that your target range should be between 80 and 150, because your blood sugars are very well managed. You can adjust that in your app, and all your reports will now show the new custom target range. This is a nice little improvement. Just keep in mind that you can only narrow down the range. You cannot make it wider than the standard range. Another thing that changed in the app is the estimated HbA1c indicator. It was replaced with glucose management indicator, or GMI. So the name is different, but it seems to be showing exactly the same thing. So GMI is the new HbA1c. Now, all these changes to the app are nice, but relatively minor. There are other bigger things that I think Abbott should improve. For example, the Libre 3 app no longer has the text-to-speech function, which many visually impaired diabetics were used to. It's completely missing in the new app, and I think this definitely should be added back. When I want to look at my daily graph, the graph is too packed. I only have a vertical view. I cannot flip the screen and view this horizontally. I cannot zoom in, and I cannot tap on the screen to see what the value was at a specific time. I can only estimate it. Now let's compare this to the stocks app. Here you can just move finger on the screen and it shows you the price of the Apple shares minute by minute. You can zoom in and out, you have different time ranges. How cool would this feature be in the Libre 3 app? Another thing is the alarm sounds, and the settings basically follow the settings of your phone. So if your phone is on a vibrate, the FreeStyle Libre 3 alarms will be vibrate only. They will not make any sounds. If you have sounds turned on, then you have two alarm options. The first one is way too aggressive, and the second one sounds like many notifications of many other apps that can be easily confused. It would be really great to have more sound options here. Another thing that could be added to the app is standard deviation. In my opinion, standard deviation is the most important indicator right after time in range and average blood sugar. And it's really easy to calculate with all the data that the sensor already has. So why not to make it available in the FreeStyle Libre 3 app? Just a reminder, I'm making this video in November 2021, and it's possible that the app will improve over time. Also, as I'm recording this video, the app is only available for iOS. It is not available for Android. Some of you complained in the comments that Abbott is prioritizing Apple users to the users of Android phones, but I don't think that's the case. It's a lot easier to make an app for iOS because the software developers only need to test it for one phone, iPhone. When you want to make an app for Android, you need to test it on many different devices, and that's why the iOS apps usually come first. I still believe that the Android version is coming on the market very soon, hopefully by the end of the year or early next year. But what do I know? If you have a smartwatch, you will be getting your high and low alarms on the watch. The watch will alarm you, tell you that you are high or low, and what your current blood sugar value and trend is. And that's a nice improvement because the Libre 2 app didn't show you the value and trend with the alarm. But there is a few drawbacks of using the smartwatch. Libre 3 is not direct to watch, so you still need your phone around to be able to get the alarms on your watch. If you have no phone on you, you will get no alarms. There is also no watch face complication, which would show you the current glucose value and trend on the watch. You only see the value and trend when you get high or low alarm. And you cannot display the glucose graph on the watch. You only see the graph on your phone. That's a pity, and definitely something for Abbott to work on in the future. Now I know some of you use two phones, a work phone and a private phone, and some of you have kids and you want the glucose readings available on both the child's phone and your phone. So can you get the glucose readings on two phones with FreeStyle Libre 3? Yes, you can. There are two options to do it. First option is to install the FreeStyle Libre 3 app on your devices. This option allows you to use both of the devices, but only one can be active at a time. It's always the one where you are logged in your FreeStyle Libre 3 app. So let's say this is your work phone that you use at work. You come home, you need to log out of the FreeStyle Libre 3 app on your work phone, and you need to log into the FreeStyle Libre on your private phone. And from then on, you will start getting all the data on your private phone. When you go back to work, you will log out of the app on your private phone and you will log in on your work phone. The second option is the FreeStyle Libre Link Up app. In this scenario, you will install FreeStyle Libre 3 app on the main phone, which will probably be your child's phone, and you will install Libre Link Up app on the secondary phone, which will be the follower, which will probably be the parent. And as long as both these phones are connected to the internet and Abbott servers, the parent will be getting the information about the child's glucose real time as well. Similar to previous FreeStyle Libre versions, you will be able to use the Libre View app, which you can use to view the data on your computer or share your glucose data with your doctor. Some of you asked about alternative sites for FreeStyle Libre 3. Well, I haven't tried any other size than my upper back arm, and I'm not even thinking of doing that, to be honest, because the sensor is so small that I don't see how it could bother anyone on the arm. But if you want some inspiration for other sensor site, then check this video here that I made a while ago, where I share my 4 favorite sites for the older versions of FreeStyle Libre. As you guys probably know, FreeStyle Libre 3 should last for 14 days, and this is exactly how long all my sensors lasted. Some people asked me if it's possible to extend the FreeStyle Libre 3 sensor life. No, this is not possible. I know it was possible with some older versions, but this is something that is not allowed by Abbott, and it is at your own risk. At this point, the FreeStyle Libre 3 data is secured. It doesn't interact with Apple Health, for example, or any other third-party apps. I think it's a pity, and I want to talk more about that in my next video, where I will be comparing FreeStyle Libre 3 and Dexcom G6. Before we talk about price and release dates, I want to talk about insulin pump integration. FreeStyle Libre 3 is an iCGM, so it is designed to work with an insulin pump as part of automated insulin delivery system. But right now it doesn't work with any insulin pumps yet. And I really wish Abbott was working with many insulin pump companies and was moving a lot faster, because I think the closed loop is the future for the majority of type 1 diabetics. I bought these little guys in Germany and they cost me 60 euro a piece, which is exactly the same price that FreeStyle Libre 2 sells for in Germany if you don't have doctor's prescription. And the pricing strategy is promised to be similar for the other countries. So FreeStyle Libre 3 will cost you the same amount as FreeStyle Libre 1 and 2. You're definitely gonna be getting a lot more value for the same amount of money. Before I talk about release dates, I want to talk about my overall impressions with FreeStyle Libre 3 and what kind of users I see using this product. Of all the CGMs I tried so far, I think this is the best option for the majority of type 2 diabetics and those type 1 diabetics who are not looping. Extremely small, super easy to apply and use, it's very private, real time, very convenient and quite accurate. It just does exactly what most diabetics need, nothing less, nothing more. If you are on an insulin pump and you want to have the comfort of automated insulin delivery, Libre 3 is not the way to go just yet. And it's probably not the way to go for these who like to use third-party apps that allow you more customization and more aggressive treatment. FreeStyle Libre 3 just doesn't support the other environments. And if you are visually impaired, you might struggle with FreeStyle Libre 3 app as well. So I really hope that Abbott will add the text-to-speech function soon. But other than that, it's an amazing product and definitely something that for the majority of diabetes population is a great fit. Now I want to give away 2 of these bad boys for free. This is not sponsored, I just decided to give back to you for all your support. The first one is going to one of my patrons, Beric Vicious. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. And the second one is going to Anna Teresa, who is following me on Instagram. If you like what I do and if you want to support me, then follow me on Instagram as well. Or better yet, sign up as my patron patron on Patreon. I will put the link to these two platforms in the description below. And if you do, you might be the next person I send a small gift to. You never know. Right now in November 2021, FreeStyle Libre 3 is still available only in Germany. And the most frequent questions I've been getting from many of you are, how can I order it if I live in another country? And when will FreeStyle Libre 3 be available in my country? Well, Abbott never releases the exact launch dates for specific countries until the product is launched. They always give out very generic information. As of today, we know that they plan to launch in Europe in Q4 2021. So far, they only launched in Germany. And we can only assume with our experience with Libre 2 that other European countries will follow. The order could be Spain, France, Nordic countries, maybe Switzerland, Portugal. I see these European countries coming right after. The UK and the US, I don't think this will happen anytime soon. Maybe late 2022, maybe early 2023. If you live outside of Germany and you really want FreeStyle Libre 3 right now, you can purchase it from the German website and you can have it shipped to a German address. It's not so easy to do, but I can help you with that because this is the exact kind of support I provide to my patrons. You can sign up for my Patreon, it's only $7 a month, and on top of direct access to me, you also get some bonus videos, some random gifts here and there. If you want to watch me inserting my first FreeStyle Libre 3 sensor, click on this video and watch it now. I will see you there. Thanks for watching, ciao!